So today I thought I'd talk about sleep. I know it's like a major topic with having a newborn or even a toddler. So I thought I'd talk about how we did it with Monkey and what we're going to be doing with Princess as well. So if I can help you by share my wisdom or experience, then this is what I'm doing it for. With Monkey, we set it up in like 2 stages. So the first stage was like when he was really young, up to about just before a year, and then the second stage, Princess wants to join in too. And then the second stage was when he was sort of aware of what was going on, and sort of a year and onwards really. We're a family that absolutely loves our sleep, like completely. If anybody knows us, we just love sleep. And we were hoping and praying that Monkey and now Princess would be completely exactly the same, and luckily, touch wood, they really are. Start with when Monkey was really little, we would always, when he was tired, put him straight in his cot. We would never rock him off to sleep or anything like that, just so he wasn't used to, say, my heartbeat to make him fall asleep or the touch that needed to fall asleep. I would go upstairs and put him in his cot. It was the easiest way to do it, because if he fell asleep in my arms and I put him down, he'd just instantly wake up again and I would just be back to square one. Even with Princess now, as soon as we know that she's about to fall asleep, we'll put her in her cot, well, in our Moses basket now. But we've never actually rocked any of our kids off to sleep. So as soon as it was nap time, he would go straight in his cot, put him down for a sleep, and the blackout blind would go down too. So he knew that dark meant sleep time. As soon as he would wake up, the blackout blind would go up and it would be technically morning in his eyes again. So we found that to work really well, and even right now he is exactly the same. We still do the blackout blind. He would get to the stage where he knew that if the dummy was falling on the floor, because we've got laminate floor, Mummy or Daddy would come in, put the dummy back in, and so on and so on. So it got to the stage then when we actually bought quite a few dummies and we spread them all over the cot, and he would then grab them in the middle of the night when he knew one dropped on the floor, because everything falls out of them slats on that cot. So if by spreading them all over the place, he was then able to grab one himself if it did actually fall out. Or if he threw them out, we wouldn't be running in because we know there'd still be more in the cot. So that is how we worked around that situation. The second stage was when he was probably going 1 and 1.5, and it would then be the controlled crying. And he would be really upset that Mummy and Daddy would leave the room. And it got to the point where maybe we were doing it wrong. So I went to the health visitor, and she gave us some tips on how to do things. First of all, she tried the control crying. And she said, put him in the cot and put a timer on your phone. So the minute you leave, you do 1 minute. You stand outside the door for 1 minute and then you go back in. Then you go out again and you do it for 2 minutes, and so on, and 3 minutes, and so on, and 4 minutes. And you just keep going and going. By that stage, he knew I was coming back. He knew I was still around, and he knew that he wasn't on his own. So he would never have that anxiety of feeling really alone like the control crying normally does. But he would always know that I would come back. That really helped, but then it got to the point where he was just staying awake. Wasn't really crying for our attention, but just being awake because he knew that we'd come back in the room. So then we tried lying on the floor in his room or sitting next to his cot, and we started off being right next to the cot, and each night we'd be a bit further away until, say, maybe a week and a half, we'd be outside the door, but the door's still open. He could still visibly see us, but it would just be a relaxing, no talking, blackout blind down, and he'd just nod off to sleep in his own time. Another tip that they give us was to put a photo of Mummy and Daddy in the cot laminated under their pillow, so that they technically, this was when he was a bit older, this was probably like 2 years old, so that technically we were still there, he could still see us, he knew that we were there, but we weren't actually there in the room with him. To me, this didn't work. It sounded a bit strange, but it might be something that could work for you. But we also have the one teddy bear that goes everywhere with him. She was mine when I was little, and now it's a he. And Sweet Pea stays in his room, and sleep in his bed, and then in the morning she'll come downstairs with us, and then as soon as it's bedtime she'll go back upstairs again. And he absolutely loves that bear, he really does. Another thing we do is actually not a set bedtime. Our routine is our routine, and we get through it all, and whatever time our routine is finished, that is when we go to sleep. That is when we put Monkey down for a sleep. We don't say 8 o'clock he's got to go to bed, because then it's rushing the whole routine of before that, knowing that he's got to be in bed at 8 o'clock. And to us, that just wasn't right. It felt like we were pushing him into something and rushing all the special parts and just ruining the rest of the night, really. So we have our routine, and then it's bedtime. Don't hang around so much. With us, it's story time, kiss, and then mummy and daddy leave. He knows then we have our cup of tea downstairs, and if he needs us, we'll come back up as soon as we're finished, which we do some nights, we're not going to lie. We do go in, maybe he wants a drink of water, we'll go in then. But at the minute, he's been really, really good, and he knows that we're just downstairs, he's not on his own, and he's quite happy. So I hope this video helps you in some way, and if it does, great. I'm hoping that maybe there's a few more ideas that you might have picked up from this to try out if you do have a fussy sleeper, because I know they're quite popular at the minute, especially on the Channel Mum site. There seems to be quite a lot of questions for the sleep week, so if I can help you out at all in any way, then fantastic. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, the red button down below, and next to it is a little bell, and that'll remind you every time there's a new video coming up. So I'll see you all again soon.